What do
You'll
you think?
probably never watch it though, right? Will the three of you watch that extended edition ever?
Maybe, but I need a bit of time.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
one of those ones that you
know.
watch it, you need a bit of
I'm
time
quite
before doing
happy
it.
with that
Yeah,
one.
it's very. I'd certainly be up for it though. It's not not one of these ones that I'd watch it and go, well, I've seen the 2 hours 15-minute cut, was it, rather than the longer one. Out of interest, what did you think about the uncle character? Do you think they told his story well? And I found the way he was at the end quite a little bit of a shock in terms of it's sort of one of the first times you actually get to hear his character speak properly. I thought he comes across a little bit more psychotic rather than I don't know, maybe just a bit more darker and serious in the first two acts. I just thought that contrast was a little bit steep, but they're just out of character-wise.
Well, that's interesting because I didn't get that at all. He's really psychotic and kind of despicable all the way from like 20 minutes in on the cut that I watched.
Mm-hmm.
And there are more scenes of him littered throughout the film. Is there a scene in the theatrical cut where where it's showing him and the younger handmaiden, or the handmaiden when she was younger, like an extended piece?
Yeah.
Like quite a long extended piece with him like abusing her and taking her down into the basement, and then also with the auntie. Is the auntie in the theatrical cut?
Yeah, she gets killed off straight away.
Some of what you've described was in the theatrical cut.
Mm.
Okay.
But I do you know what, Guy? I do kind of agree with you, and it's why it was strange for me, Gub, when you said that was your favourite scene of the film. So it wasn't. I didn't dislike that scene at all, but it certainly wasn't. It wouldn't be like one of my favourite scenes from the film. And for me, I think I got that he was a bit psychotic and a bit perverse, but I never really got him ever feeling slightly perverse towards her.
Yeah.
It was more just an abusive kind of relationship to her, and that he was kind of using her her ability to kind of infatuate those other blokes to basically abuse and manipulate them. And so when he was kind of like really pressing and probing and almost trying to vicariously live out the experience of having sex with her through the guy, I was a bit like, it doesn't feel quite right that he's probing about this. I think he probably wouldn't kind of give a shit if she was.
Cared, yeah. He would have just been like.
I think he lost everything, so he's gone a bit crazy about it, because he's never lost control of anything previously, and she was everything to him. She was his business. She was like his inheritance coming through. She was obviously his like sex interest from like a perverse manner. So he's lost everything. So that's why he's dressed very dishevelled. His hair is all over the place. You can tell that he's in a manic state because he's not in control. The whole way through the movie, he's licking his pen. He's very ordered. He's got a suit on. He's got a tie on. He's wearing business gents. But in that final scene, he's in a dressing gown. His hair's all over the place. And I like that.
I fully got that. I just didn't ever get that. Why I never ever got the impression that he had a sexual interest in her. I never really got that. Which
also, if he did, would he not have just? If he was like how he was at the end, would he not have just gone for her anyway? Like if he had such a keen sexual obsession.
I like it because you get that he's perverse the whole way, and it's only in that final scene that you get to see the extent of it, and that's why it's my favourite scene, because it adds another layer to the whole tale, because you realise how dark it actually is, and how weird it actually is.
That's
what I like most, because it gives you that glimpse into his psyche.
I really, 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 really love the scene, with her reading and all of the men sat around. The way that they told that scene, that story, is that meta narrative within the story, and all of them just like having their own little internal combustions and freakouts. I really, really love the way they did that. Yeah.
Brilliantly acted.
Yeah.
So nothing else. No one's got anything else from this film. Does it, to answer Guy's original question of was there anything you think could be improved or we would have done differently?
Could arguably have been a little bit simplistic in its story itself. Maybe. No, I'm just suggesting. I'm honestly spitballing suggestions here. Maybe it could have had a deeper. I mean, it's deep enough as it is, and in terms of it intertwining through and through, the storyline's like a plait, isn't it? It just sort of keeps going in and out and out. Maybe it would get too carried away.
Sorry, again.
No, go on.
It promised a certain amount of dirty, dark complexity at the start of the film, and it gave me far more than I'd even anticipated. Ending the film. Arguably even for me, a little too much at times, and I this is personal preference speaking only. It's no slight on the film whatsoever. But I prefer to see a little more humanity in the character, and not humanity, maybe the better nature of a human being before they show me, all the rough stuff. And I felt I got too much rough stuff, and I was watching it and hoping for something else, but again, that's my own.
Do you think The Handmaiden was complex enough in that way, in terms of character?
Say it again?
Do you think The Handmaiden was complex enough as a character? She was quite single track in her story arc.
She was, but then again, there was a scene at the start which it was a very short shot. It was a very short cut where she's in the room being explained a story, and she's explained the terms, and the camera kind of pans in on her, and she just reframes the terms and says, no, it's going to be this way. And it kind of empowered her and showed a completely different aspect to her character. So that, for me, I was like, oh, that's an interesting additional dimensionality that I hadn't seen of her, obviously, in the first part, where she's playing up to this role of hers. She could be kind of conniving, and she could be kind of coercive when she wanted to be. She was a pickpocket. She was the son of this brilliant thief, but at the same time, she has this kind of empathy and this kind of motherliness to her nature. There's a line that she has where she says in one of the scenes that if she could, she'd breastfeed every single one of the babies. And that kind of that for me and added an interesting dimension to what could have otherwise been just the character that was out for her own ends. And they shifted and played with it enough that I didn't actually know what she was after at any one point in time. That changed throughout the story. It wasn't as if she started one way and was that way at the end, like the bloke was. She did shift around, given the circumstances and her changing kind of love and affection for the woman. So she, as far as I'm concerned, she was really well built.
The one thing I didn't like, I've actually just thought of it, I didn't like how easily she escaped from prison to fit the story. Or to escape the asylum to fit the story. I just thought the little, because they talked through the process and the hairpins get out of the cuffs and all that kind of stuff, and then sort of next minute she's out. I just thought that was a little bit, to fit the narrative, we're going to make this happen in that way.
Yeah,
there was just
I
a
get what you're
tiny
saying,
little
but it
thing
just
that
wasn't what the story was about. The story was never about her escaping out of the prison. So I had the same thought. I was kind of they're making this easy, but at the same time I was I want her to get out now so they can push it on.
Yeah.
So I kind of got his decision on why he did that.
Yeah. Anything at all, Tom, that you think can improve it?
Not really. There wasn't anything glaring. I thought that. I like the scenes that we've spoken about when her doing the reading the octopus, the more kind of perverted, sinister scenes. I like that aspect of the film. I thought that was quite, just because it's such an unusual topic. It's kind of creepy that he's got this massive octopus in the tank. It would have been more interesting to see more scenes with that involved, maybe. I don't know.
I want the octopus to play a bigger part.
He didn't have a big enough role.
like the basement scenes, I thought could be like more prominent, or there could have been more that took place down there. Because in the theatrical cut, that he talks about the basement, but they never really go down there and see what's there, and they really explore it.
But that was the threat for me.
You don't
That
see
was the
you
threat,
don't
not knowing
in the theatrical cut. You don't see the octopus until the third act.
till the end.
Yeah, I didn't either.
You
But
don't either.
did you get a scene where there was just like a load of growling, grumbling noises underneath?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he goes to the stairs, and that's it.
She takes the younger one goes down.
Did you know what it was at that point? Did you guess?
No.
Because there were clues. I didn't guess either, but there were pages of a book with an octopus in it shown earlier on in the story.
Well, it was one of the
It's just
stories she was
like-
reading, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, shall we rate this bad boy then? In that case, James, what would you give The Handmaiden?
I would give The Handmaiden 8.4. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Really, really cool story. Really well delivered. I was, again, taken for a ride with it. They've completely played my emotions. I wasn't expecting the twist, which is always a nice and fairly rare surprise. So yeah, no, 8.4 for me.
Liam? No worries.
Hang What's that?
Liam, go on. What was your rating?
I thought it was a masterful film, like very well built, very well structured, very well acted, technically, perfect. I don't think I enjoyed the subject matter quite as much, so I probably wouldn't go higher than 8. I'd go probably 7.7.
Tom?
8.2.
8.2.
Really enjoyed it. Yeah, thought it was interesting. Like the twists, like the way it was broken up. It's not like my favourite film ever, but yeah, I thought it was really good. And through the lens of my non-restricted voting format now, it's correct up an 8 to an 8.2.
I'd agree with all of you, to be honest. I think, it's got sharp, snappy, it's very witty, really good storytelling, good fun to watch. Like I said, it's got the sort of storyline of Portrait of a Lady on Fire, but with the humour of Parasite, and with those two combined together, you can't go that wrong. I enjoyed it overall, so I'm going to give it an 8. So I haven't done the maths on this one at all, actually, whilst you've been talking that. I was totally distracted. Did you say 7.7, Liam?
Like an 8.1, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, 8.1, sorry.
Fine, 8.2 plus 8 plus 7.7 plus 8.4 divided by 4 is I've messed it up. Talk amongst yourselves.
Is that spoilers for Portrait of a Lady on Fire, guy? That it's similar.
No. They are different. Oh my god. They're certainly very different films. Have you seen Parasite? Everyone's seen Parasite, right?
I haven't.
Yeah, you haven't seen Parasite.
Nah, it's still on my watch list.
Be interested to hear your thoughts once you've seen Parasite. About Parasite in general, obviously, but also just in terms of maybe even how South Korean cinema is possibly changing now that the rest of the world is waking up to it more and it's getting more publicity.
I can't see it topping Oldboy.
I preferred this to Parasite, and I really rated Parasite as well.
Yeah.
What was the score then, guy?
7.7.
It's only divided by 4.
Yeah, I know, forgive me.
Should I get my phone out?
It keeps coming up with 26, and I don't know why. It's must be my calculator's doing something wrong. Plus that 7.7 plus.
I reckon it's 8.1
equals.
Yeah, it's got to be around 8.1.
8.1. Yeah, there you go. 8.1 for The Handmaiden.